What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time to review Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. I was about to say Stardust Crusaders. Diamond is Unbreakable, Episode 5. So I'm going to kind of rush through this review because I got to go to the movies pretty soon. I'm going to go see Ratchet and Clank. By the way, Ratchet and Clank review is going to be up tomorrow. Look forward to that, I guess. But yeah, I'm going to go see that. So I'm going to try and get through this review kind of quickly and upload it as quick as I can. Though if it's kind of all over the place, I do apologize, but I'll just give a brief summary. We've got the first part of the episode, which is Koichi and Josuke meeting their father and seeing how fucking gross he is, and then Nejimura, older Nejimura brother, coming in and explaining the backstory about his childhood and the father being abusive and everything, but having the Dio cells in him. You know, he had like one of those flesh bud things, and it basically turned him into that freak, so bad news bears for him. But he was kind of an abusive dick anyway, so, you know. But, you know, we find out all that stuff. Then we get to the middle portion where they're finally kind of trying to, you know, work with the older Nejimura brother, get him to give up the bow so Josuke can help him. You know, he puts the picture back together. We find out that he has memories. He does still care about his sons. And then we get the third portion of the episode, which is basically Red Hot Chili Pepper coming in, fucking over the older Nejimura brother, just straight up toasting him, burnt toasting him, and then points if you know what shitty English dub that burnt toast thing is from. I don't know if you'll be able to guess. But, yeah, so anyways, digression aside, he gets burnt to toast, left on the electrical wires, and a new stand user named, well, we don't know his name, but stand name, Red Hot Chili Peppers, has the bow and arrow now. And he gives Jotaro a call, he gloats about it. Jotaro's immediately going detective mode, like, oh, you're a student? And he's like, no, shut up. Like, you could just tell that he got, I don't know what his exact words were, but you could tell he got flustered when Jotaro called him on that. So he blows up the phone. Jotaro says yada yada, scene wrapped. Then we get Josuke and Okuyasu, I guess, I don't know. Okuyasu, whatever. We get him and Josuke, they're gonna go to the same school, and Josuke's like, oh geez, this guy's fucking hyper and shit. And that's pretty much the end, you know, so that's the episode. Important things that happened, though. In terms of character development, we get some for Okuyasu, because, if I'm saying his fucking name right, I'm just going to call him that for the review, and if I'm wrong, whatever. I'd rather call him his name than, like, the Hand, you know what I mean? So, he fucking, you know, his brother died in front of him. You know, it makes him emotional, obviously, even though his brother treated him like shit, he still protected him in the end. So, you know, you could see it, you know, hit him, and obviously this is going to push his character. Development was set up here for his character. Major story progression with the bow being passed to someone else, this story arc wrapping up, a character dying. Not a super important character, but still. You know, a lot of progression here in terms of the overall story, so all that's absolutely fantastic. In terms of characterization and shit, we get a little bit more about Koichi. We see that he can actually get brave and get serious when he needs to. Very key to his character for later on, so I really liked that. Also, Josuke was kind of weird. Like, he wants to, his grandpa died, and he made like a vow that he'd protect the people of this town. But then he's like, oh no, let's leave, we'll worry about the bow later. That seemed really weird after he makes that vow. And then like 2 days later, he's just like, oh, we could go get the bow, but nah, not right now, let's leave. I mean, I realize he was injured, but still. Those injuries didn't stop him from fucking parkouring his way up to the rooftop, so I don't know. Whatever, Jojo logic. You could spill a gallon of fucking blood and be A-okay. Like, literally, fucking Joseph Joestar with his fucking, like, wrist clock thing that they made out of him. You guys remember that shit in part 2? Oh, man, when they first meet the Pillarmen, I think that was when that was. Anyways, you can tell how fast I'm trying to do this review because I'm fucking, like, stumbling over my words even more than usual. But yeah, a lot of story progression. The pacing, they were in one room for most of the episode, so it felt a little slow, but it wasn't too bad at all. You know, and I think it only felt kind of slow because of that. I think overall the pacing was about average, and the music was, of course, well used, and, of course, animation, artwork, color schemes, the Jojo flair, all that stuff was, as usual, pretty on point. Animation could have been a bit better, I suppose, but since it was a lot of talking, you know, it really didn't need to be much better, and it was good where it needed to be good, so overall, from a technical aspect, especially the story progression, this episode really gets high marks. And then everything else from an entertainment perspective, I also really enjoyed. Next episode is Koichi Reverbs. It should be called Echoes because that's his stand name, but bullshit copyright reasons, which I know I'm trying to speed through this review, but why can't they just use band names? What the fuck does it hurt to use the band name? It doesn't hurt the market value of these bands at all. In fact, it's like free publicity. Like, you hear the stand name and then be like, what the fuck? Why is it called that? Is that a band? And then you look up the band and maybe you'll like their fucking music. Who knows? It's just stupid, especially something like Echoes or Bad Company, which, by the way, I didn't give credit to Bad Company. Bad Company is fucking awesome. The little soldiers and the tanks and the fucking little green beret comes down with a little knife. It's adorable, it's badass, it's funny, it's an awesome stand. Definitely want to give credit to that stand, because obviously we're never going to see it again. Toasted and all that. But, yeah, the copyright bullshit, like Bad Company, were they able to call Vanilla Ice's stand Cream? I think they were able to get away with that one. They can get away with a few of them, but it's just dumb. Like, you're not using the actual music, you're not slandering the company or the band. There's no reason they shouldn't be allowed to use these fucking names, but whatever. He's gonna be called Reverbs. I don't really care. I got over it. I just think it's just generally dumb. And then, of course, Josuke's stand is Crazy Diamond. Now they're calling it Shiny Diamond. Whatever. Or Shining Diamond. Whatever. Like I said, I've gotten over it. In fact, some of the redone names I actually prefer. Not going to get into that because I don't have time, but, you know, it's dumb copyright. I've never really mentioned it too much in part 3 that I know of, and I really only didn't mention it because it really wasn't that relevant at the time. Only a few of them were named after bands. I mean, a few characters were named after bands, and I didn't really mention that too much, but anyways, rambling aside, the copyright is stupid, but what the fuck else is new? You know, the grass is still green and all that. But anyways, I'm going to give this episode like an 8.7 out of 10. I think it's really close to a 9. I thought it was an above grade episode, especially for the fantastic story progression of, you know, the fucking bow switching hands and the death and, you know, ending this story arc and everything. And Josuke getting a new ally to be on, like, his quote-unquote team for this arc. So, all that stuff really, really good. So, 8.7 out of 10. What did you guys think of this episode of Jojo? You guys can tell me in the comment section below. Also, follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can give this video a thumbs up, share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, or if you like what you've seen here. Check out my Ratchet & Clank review tomorrow morning, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching.